YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back after Sunday's action of NFL Week 2. Two unfortunate injuries that will shake things up in the NFL. We're going to break down these backup quarterbacks and then predict the rest of the season for these two teams. The New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees going down and the Pittsburgh Steelers with Big Ben Roethlisberger going down. Obviously, I'd say the Big Ben injury is a little more significant because he is out for the whole season, but Drew Brees is more of an impact player, you can argue, but he will be back in 6 to 8 weeks. So Drew Brees, thumb surgery, couldn't even grip a football. Usually that injury apparently is a minimum of 8 weeks. They originally said 6 weeks for Drew Brees. Now they're saying 6 to 8 weeks. I believe that. I think 6 to 8 weeks. They're going to be accurate about that. Shows how tough Brees is. He wants to come back in 6 weeks. We'll see what happens there. And then Big Ben, non-contact injury from his elbow, needs a surgery. Doesn't look good. I guess the good news is that he plans on finishing out his contract. The good news, I'd say, trying to find good news. It's not good news, but I'm trying to find it. There is a little bit of upside, but you can actually, for the Steelers, you have an opportunity to see if Mason Rudolph is the answer. He needs more of a chance, but you'll get an idea if he is the future, I should say. And if he's not the future, you'll probably end up with a really good pick, and you can take the QB of the future. If he is the future, he may lead them to the playoffs. We'll see. I'm going to predict game by game for the rest of the season, actually, for these. We'll look at best case, worst case, and what I actually think for both the Saints and the Steelers. And the Saints got Teddy Bridgewater, who I was very high on when he came out of the draft, and I think he would be I don't know if he'd be on the Saints, honestly, right now if he never got hurt, but I think he'd be at that potential or very close to what I thought. A very accurate quarterback, very smart quarterback, and his accuracy, since coming back from the injury, maybe doesn't look the same, but I think he can get back there. There's really no reason why he shouldn't be able to. What the injury caused really is his mobility. He actually used to be able to be a very good runner and be able to break tackles, had incredible vision, but he can still throw. It's just kind of getting back in that groove, and the Saints see something. They gave him this money to bring him back, not for nothing. They see something. I'm sure Drew Brees sees something, and they'll be able to use Taysom Hill in there with him, but Taysom Hill really, to me, isn't a true quarterback, but they can use them together, and it's also a test to see if Teddy Bridgewater will be the future guy. Do they sign him long-term after this year? It's a true test. It almost needed to happen, even though it's a bad thing because the Saints could have been one of the better teams in football. They still can be, and both these teams can win with these quarterbacks. They definitely can win. Teddy, I was super high, and he can get back to that potential. The Saints have a very good team around him. And Mason Rudolph, I was actually, I was kind of late first, early second when he came out. The problem was the velocity on the ball, especially, the further throws and the sideline, the out route throws. That was the problem, and he still needs to work on the out routes. But he's a smart quarterback, has a cannon, and maybe doesn't have enough velocity, but he can put it pretty far, and especially to his duo from Oklahoma State, James Washington, who I like a lot. So that could help. It actually could help James Washington's stock too. So this is gonna be fun to watch. I believe in both these guys, and it's easy to say, very easy of anybody to say they'll be fine with these guys or they'll be terrible with these guys. But really, what it comes down to is week by week in who they play. Before we take a look at the remaining schedules and kind of breaking this down. We do have exclusive content available, and we keep on updating it, patreon.com/thegoathouse, and there's a link at the top of the description. You can possibly get weekly mock drafts. Those aren't in video forms. We do them here and there during the season in video form on the channel, but you get them every single week on Patreon if you're a part of that. You also get bonus videos, whether it's an NFL video or it's behind the scenes or bloopers, and you can join our private Discord chat. Plenty more. Go ahead and check that out. We also have a subscriber goal of 40K by the end of this year. We got you covered. All kinds of NFL and college football content constantly throughout the week. We got you covered, so go ahead and subscribe. Turn notifications on. Click the like button. Check us out on Twitter. Live tweeting all kinds of games. But let's take a look. I'm using playoffpredictors.com. Very good, very cool site. Playoffpredictors.com. And you can just predict the outcome of the rest of the season here. So it's very cool, and it really makes this easy, and I guess, really sums up what we're trying to do here. So the Steelers rested, they're 0-2 right now. They got Mason Rudolph, and I'm not expecting to get these predictions 100% right, and it just went away on me, but we'll pull the Steelers back up. There we go. Not expecting to get 100% right, but just kind of give you an idea. Let's just start with let's start with the worst case scenario. How about that? We're going to go worst case scenario, best case scenario, then what I actually think could happen around there, and then the same thing for the Saints, which Brees isn't out for the whole season, though, so it's a little different. Big Ben being out the whole season. Okay, so Steelers at Niners, and the Steelers can win this game. I don't want to say, 0% chance. Well, this is worst case scenario here. So going to be tough for young Mason Rudolph to go in there and play, in this situation right away. Most likely they'll lose this game. Steelers, this is worst case scenario, but I still think this is a game they can win here. And then the Ravens game, Ravens look very good. I think the Ravens can win that. So they're at 1-4 right now. Steelers at Chargers. That's going to be a tough one too. I still like to think they can even. This is Monday night game. Look at that. Against the Dolphins, I think Mason Rudolph can really get a confidence boost in that game against the Dolphins. The Colts, even not having their quarterback, kind of like the Steelers and the Saints, they still look like a pretty darn good team. Colts can win that one. I don't expect them to win that game, especially in the worst case scenario here. The Browns, we'll give them the Browns. They could beat the Bengals twice. Worst case scenario, we'll give it to the Bengals. They can win this one. Between these two, you'd like to think they can get one of them. We'll just go like that, and then possibly like this. So worst case scenario, that they're picking, they got a very good pick here. 4-12, they got a very good pick. Do they take that quarterback of the future? Do they go that route? I guess we can kind of take a look at that in all the mock drafts that we do. But that's the worst case. The main point of this was to show my predictions, but I kind of want to, the more the better here. So the best case scenario, what I think the best Mason Rudolph and the Steelers can do. I really don't know if they beat the Niners this week. I don't know. The Niners look really good right now and are impressive. I don't know if they're that good. But to get thrown in there, and there's a lot of pressure when you're starting the week, it's going to be tough for them to win that game. So this is the best case scenario. I'm still going to give the Niners. We can go Steelers here. We can go Steelers here at home against the Ravens. Go Chargers, Steelers. They can beat the Colts at home. I don't know if they win that game against the Rams. Against the Browns, we'll give it to the Browns. I think the Steelers can get another one against the Browns and the Bengals as well. This is why, if you remember, I picked the Steelers to do very well in the beginning of my pre-year predictions, and everyone's giving me smack if they just lost to the Patriots. People are kind of cooled it, but because I think they know the Big Ben injury is significant. But that's one game, first of all. But the reason I did is because the stretch down here. Look at the stretch. Beat the Cardinals. This is best case scenario. I really think they can. I didn't mean to do that. I think they can do something like that. Again, this is best case scenario. Which the unfortunate thing is, it's still 10-6 at the best case scenario. So I only have them losing. What is that? Niners, Chargers, Rams, and Browns. Maybe we can switch it to the Browns. We got to see more of the Browns. Maybe the best case is 11-5. And this stretch down at the end is a favorable schedule. I know Big Ben's not in there. I know they have a couple other minor injuries, but that's a good stretch, so something can happen there. But what I'm actually going to predict here, I like the Niners, like I said. I'll take the Steelers in the Bengals game. I like Mason Rudolph. I think he can play. It's just not going to be he's not going to be great. It's not going to be instantly either. So I think something along the lines of this can happen. Really, I think between the next 3 games, I think they have to get one of these between the Colts, Rams, and the Browns. That's the way I view those next 3. They're tough, but I think they'll get one of those tough ones. And them being home in 2 of them, I think I would go with one of the home ones. So I think I'll take them there. It's not really, it's just kind of an idea of what the record could be. We'll give the Browns here. Steelers and Bengals. Do they beat the Bengals twice? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt here, just to get an idea here. Take the Steelers down there, or take the Browns down there. And they really could do some out of these next 3. I think they can win 2 of them. I really think they can win. We're gonna go like that, and then in the beginning of the year, I was thinking they split. I don't know why. It was kind of a feeling they split away games with the Ravens. Just kind of a weird feeling. It really depends on what the Ravens situation is at this point. They may not need this game. It's very possible that the division was supposed to be one of the tighter ones in football, and it's very, very early, way too early to even say. It looks like right now the Ravens could have that wrapped up. So, my prediction, whether it's like this, you can flip this a million ways. I think they're around 8-8. My range really, I can easily take the cheap route, and say the range could be 4 wins to 11 wins. But, my real range, to be more precise, I'd say is, I almost want to say 6-9. We'll say, I believe in Mason Rudolph. We'll say 7-9, probably 8 wins. Like I had to come up here. Maybe it's 7 wins. Maybe you just can't figure it out. They can still win games. They can definitely still win games. Like I said, best case scenario around 11 games. So we'll see what happens. I do believe in him, but you look at the schedule, and, like I said, down the stretch, it's pretty solid, but some tough ones in there. I even had him winning this Colts game, which is really not, guaranteed, obviously, or anything. But back to the current standings, we'll take a look at the Saints here. And now it looks like the AFC South's a little open. I do think there's 2 teams that are much better than the other 2 teams still. So 1-1, so they're not sitting at 0-2. I think it'll be tough, this game. Again, not going to say 0%. So we'll start with the worst-case scenario here. I'm going to go with the Seahawks here. It's going to be tough for Teddy to just bounce, get in there, get going, and then they can lose to the Cowboys. Okay, so first let's take a look. So he can be out 6 to 8 weeks. This is the tough part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will he be back here? With the bye week sitting right here in a Cardinals game that's winnable, I don't think he's back here. So I think he's back for either the Falcons or the Saints game. I think realistically, why they said 6 to 8 is because of that bye week. I think he could be back in this game right here. But this is worst case scenario here. Seahawks, I like the Cowboys. I still like the Saints in this game. They've struggled actually with the Buccaneers over the years, in Tampa being, but I still like the Saints. They're a much better team. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's probably the better quarterback than Jameis Winston, honestly, and he can get going here. They can get more creative with Taysom Hill to throw teams off. We'll give it to the Jags here because of their defense, but will they have enough offense? I almost like the Saints in that one. This is worst case scenario. All right, okay. I still like them against the Cardinals. All right, now we're predicting Drew back. This is worst case scenario. Maybe he's a little rusty. Maybe he's a little hurt still. We'll give it to the Falcons, and like I say, the Buccaneers kind of beat them. I actually have them, winning the one with Teddy here, but it's just about the layout of the schedule. But then I think they can get going. I think they can get this Falcons game here. They can get these games. Between the Colts and the Titans, they'll probably lose one of those. Most likely. I think they beat the Panthers twice. So worst case scenario, they're sitting at 8-8. I guess you don't want to hear that, but that is. Maybe you can win the division at 8-8, maybe. You never know. I don't think that's the strongest division right now. So 8-8, and I guess there's some you can flip back and forth here. But again, that is that's worst case scenario here. All right, so best case scenario with Teddy Bridgewater. I'm still going to give this one to the Seahawks. Man, do they beat the Cowboys in week 4, even if it's with Teddy? I like Teddy, but can he get going this early? Best case scenario, let's say, yeah. Saints, I like them winning these games. I don't think is that a Sunday night game? No, it's Sunday late afternoon, according to that. I just don't know about that one against the Bears. Too much defense from the Bears. The Saints win here. They can definitely win with Drew Brees back. They got a little momentum. They always lose the Bucks, it seems like. It just seems like they always lose the Bucks. So even best case scenario, I got them losing to the Bucks, I suppose. The Falcons always struggle with the Saints, though, so I go this. So this is best case, and this is realistic, very realistic here. So they could still win 12. They could still go in 12-4, even with Drew Brees missing. It's very possible. Maybe you want to go Cowboys here, but you even go back to the Saints here. So it kind of ends up back 12-4. So 11-12 wins is best case scenario right now. And again, I don't think they even need that many to win the division. So this is kind of what I'm predicting. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I like the Saints in this one. Saints versus Jags. It's a tough one because I do like Teddy better than Gardner Minshew. Teddy can definitely get going, but the Jags defense could be the difference in that one. There's a whole Jalen Ramsey situation right now. I'm still going to take the Saints in that one, actually. The Bears right there. I like the Saints in this one still. After the bye week, he may or may not play. I'm thinking he does. Man, that's back. I think they split away games, so I'm already going to skip ahead. I'm going to say they split away games here. We'll give the Bucks this one. I like them over the Niners at this point. And then you got Colts. Like I said, I think one of these games, Colts-Titans. Colts-Titans pretty even team. We've seen them very close when they just played each other. This one's actually Monday night. I really like the prime time, the home team on prime time. So we'll go something like that. and the Saints. So 9-7 is what I'm predicting. That's hard to imagine, even with Teddy Bridgewater. And then, it's just I'm only picking the Bucs because it just feels like something with the Bucs. They do have a different coaching staff. The Saints really should not lose to the Bucs. They just really shouldn't. So I'm thinking 10 wins. I'm still thinking, depending on when he comes back, I'd say that 8-11 range. I feel comfortable saying 8-11. How much do you need to win a division? The Falcons are a good team. They're beat up on the offensive line right now. Matt Ryan's not looking too great. It's only week 2, so I'm not overreacting. But I still think this, even though I had that range of 8 to, I still think the Saints win a division. Even though this isn't the most positive thing, I still think 8-11 wins, not one away. So we can use this more as we get closer to the end of the season. I'll predict the playoffs and the Super Bowl at one point mid-season and once we get closer. So we can do all that. A lot going on here, and we got even extra content on our Patreon, so check that out. Plenty of predictions, recaps, power rankings on the way. Thanks, everyone, for the support. It's been awesome lately. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.